the people in the middle, a lot of professionals, they're not sure yet whether if they should make the report, there is anything that would actually be done about it. And that prompted us to go into a partnership with the ICPC. So any report that is made on egunje.info that somebody actually provides evidence with, they will take it up as being an official petition. That is the way forward we've been able to achieve. But most people do not believe that anything is going to come out of it, sadly. And there's a reticence to making these reports. But like you said, unless the public will make the reports, unless people can see what's in it for them to actually make the report and try to stop corruption, unless they can be encouraged to ensure that there's no hiding place for the corrupt in our communities, that there's a repercussion for corruption, and unless you can break up the collusion between the public and private sector to take money from the treasury and so on, then really we can't make sustainable progress on this issue. So in
a sector where we have a lot of micro, small and medium enterprises now actually, being in the media so much these days, because the federal government has actually now realized that they are really like, the driving force of the economy.
Yes.
For such businesses, do they feel that they shouldn't really be bothered with such high-sounding terms like business ethics?
Yes.
True or false? And if it is the situation, don't we think that that's the beginning of a problem? Just it's the start of a wound before it festers open and becomes a sore. And we see the same thing that we're seeing everywhere in the economy right now.
I think it's a lack of imagination, but it's not entirely their fault. If the larger companies who buy the services, and they do buy a lot of services from small and medium enterprises, require the same thing from them, in terms of business ethics, require standard from them, most people will comply if it's part of what they need to do. There's an example from Lagos Business School. They have this small business development, it's called the EDS, Enterprise Development Service, I think it's called. And some of the SMEs they brought up in there got into the supply chain of ShopRite. Now, those ones, you don't need to tell them, this is how you should package your goods, this is the standard. Because of the cash flows they're going to get, because of the steady business they're going to get, they're going to stick with the standards and try to improve and improve and improve, because that is what drives their business. So helping people to be properly aligned to markets, have access to markets, have properly aligned people also within the markets, that is what pulls everybody together back in alignment. So getting Dangote Group, for example, to be one of the shining lights, that will influence so many businesses in Nigeria. So we're calling on Dangote Group, for instance, to show the light. Bua Group up north, Ishiaku Rabiu, if you look at Lafarge, all of those other big companies in Nigeria, if they were to show the light and require it out of their ecosystem, it's the beginning of a positive spiral rather than a downward spiral.
You already answered the question I was going to ask about how leadership can mitigate this problem. But let's look at how can civil organizations, civil society organizations play their part also in encouraging, business ethics among private operators, that's the micro, small and medium enterprises, to, the larger ones.
Yeah, I think what would motivate SMEs the most is helping them to see the link between the growth they desire and where they are today, and helping them to see it. Because really, for most Nigerians, it's the question of what's in it for me.
Exactly.
They always feel as though if I try to do all of that and my competitors are cutting corners, I'll be dead. So for them, it's useful to have some kind of association, and this is where civil society comes in. Help them band together. Help to do the things that they don't have time to do, to link them to the bigger players. Help to do some of the research to show that in this industry there are opportunities here, here, and here. Help to show them that there are alternatives to corruption as a route to affordable finance. And I think most people will take it because we found that there are three groups of people in Nigeria. Some who are corrupt. It doesn't matter what you put in front of them, they will never change. But they're the minority. There are some who will always do the right thing, no matter what you do. But they're also in the minority. The majority of people in Nigeria feel trapped. They say, well, it's the system. Well, what can I do? I don't know what to do. If you show them an alternative that is viable, they will take it.
Where does whistleblowing come in all of this?
Whistleblowing comes especially when you see the collusion or the opportunities for collusion. For example, reporting corruption is very important. But take, for example, the policeman who was caught on camera taking a bribe. That was whistleblowing. Good. So what did that do? You got the individual policeman dismissed. But the system didn't change. Because I was in a car the very next week here in Lagos, and the driver did a U-turn at the wrong place, and the police came in the car. And I told the guy, when he started to ask for a bribe, that, don't you see what happened to the other guy? He said, yes, I saw. How unfortunate. So what are you guys? It did not faze him at all. It doesn't change the system if your superiors still require it of you. It can't. So I think if you just blow the whistle at the small people, yes, it will damage them. We will have a lot of fun watching it go viral and so on. But except we change the system itself. And for that, we need to do studies to see what makes these systems so vulnerable. How can we improve integrity in those systems? And civil society should then put pressure to get these improvements done. And I think that is a big role that civil society can play.
How about the judiciary?
That is a big one. Because, yes, at the end of the day, if you don't do anything about the judiciary, the anti-corruption agencies can't really function, especially in their enforcement role.
But right now, the judiciary is trying very hard, to sanitize itself and make sure that cases that come up, like corruption cases and the likes of it, are treated very seriously, because it is also going to be giving an impression to people who outside in diaspora who want to come to Nigeria to do business and the likes of it. Many
times we talk of the judiciary when we actually mean the whole administration of justice system. Because you see, if the person who's prosecuting makes a nonsense of the evidence or doesn't do is not effective in filing the right charges, there's very little that the judiciary can actually do at the end of the day. So it's the entire administration of justice system that needs to be in line with the changes that Justice Aloma Mukhtar is trying to do. And we see that she's really pushing for change, but we need the Bar Association to be pushing for change with its members as well. We need the police force to be pushing for change at the same time. We need the same thing to be happening because it's systemic, our corruption. So when you fix one part, it starts to unravel in another part. And we need not just one entity, but several to do at least the minimum changes in order to see a big change happen within the economy.
Well, Soji, let's talk about quick ways in we can tackle unethical business practices and how we can, after tackling it, grow the economy. Because once that is out of the way, we should definitely see an increase in how the economy is rated.
Yes. One, access to finance. Increase access to finance for most people, because why people struggle to go into politics is really access to finance. It's a sure route to finance. So increase finance. Let people be able to get access to finance.
To do their businesses,
to do their businesses. Lots of people will not go into politics anymore because they have the access to finance. Next thing, access to markets. Help us. If for example, you win is good, but it's on a small scale. Imagine a you win, in quotes, which was the kind of thing that was supposed to have come through the marketing boards. Supposing you had something that could link you, if you're a commodity trader, you know where you're going to sell. You've got a guaranteed market out there, and you've got a guaranteed route to market.
Well, that's one of the things that the Minister of Agriculture is actually working on, and even the Minister of Finance as well.
And even the CBN.
Yes.
Quite a few. But ask me what is happening to some of those funds that were set aside. We hear rumors and huge rumors of political farmers already benefiting from the money and not the real people that it was earmarked for. So although there is very sincere intention behind that, we need to do it and do it sincerely and have more of those kinds of things happening. I think they are quick wins because within 2 years you can see the difference. I'll give you a very concrete example. There's a bank, I don't know if they'd like me to mention their name, so I won't. There's a bank that is doing business with poor farmers, and they're helping them improve their yields and everything. If you go to any of those farmers, they'll be happy to tell you that, in fact, you don't need to be corrupt. All you need is professional farming, relationship with your bank, and next you can be earning 2 to 3 times what you were earning before. Because those who are cultivating maybe 1 hectare before last season and have 3 hectares are now able to cultivate 3 hectares and get the finance for all the inputs and everything they need, plus get greater yields than they used to get before. It's that kind of thing that will sustain the change of behavior in Nigeria. It's not the whip. It's the more of incentives now, and not because we've seen that the stick doesn't work. We don't have everything in place to really make it work. So on its own, it's weak. Let's put in some incentives as well and hope that the two working together could persuade the people in the middle who feel trapped to take the right choices.
Thank you so much, Soji, for speaking with us on the program today. It's been quite informative. And I've been speaking with Soji Apampa. He's a co-founder, Convention for Business Integrity, and we've been looking at business ethics in Nigeria and how this has affected businesses, small and, of course, the large corporations. And it's been quite informative. As I said, you can follow this conversation because this is not the end of it. Whatever questions and comments you can send in will be welcome. But that's the show for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbeni. Enjoy your day.